Hey everybody, morning and happy Sunday. As per usual, not change. Whenever we have the day off on a Sunday, or even if we have to work, we earmark a little bit of time for self-care. And we all know how my self-care Sunday starts every Sunday with a cup of coffee. See? And I have this Blue Mountain Peak coffee here. Small bottle, but big blessing. You know what I mean? And I am going to be adding a little bit of salt. And instead of nutmeg today, I decided I'm going to try some ground ginger. Just a little bit. Yeah. Ginger smell good, you see? But feel like it's agonized. Then, as usual, our oat milk. That was oat milk creamer. This is plain oat milk. The creamer is a little bit too sweet, so I always supplement it with oat milk. Alright, so now that our coffee is all ready and good to go, let me try it to make sure, say, the ancestors were correct. Ginger make a difference. Zine? So on today's Self-Care Sunday, I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. But today's theme is going to be, I will always choose me because self-care is not selfish. Zine? And for the most part, I always talk, but I never ever give you all a story time. So here we go. Now I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. Story time about a little bit of my life. So I started nursing in Jamaica, and then in 2015 I decided that I was going to move to Bermuda to do nursing. Now the landscape in Jamaica as a developing country is way different from Bermuda being more first world, right? And let me say this is never going to be a dig at Bermuda. Bermuda is one of the most beautiful islands in the world. I have met the most loving, helpful and selfless people in Bermuda. My very good friends, majority of my friend group now are in Bermuda. So I love and appreciate you all, and it is 100% gratitude always, right? And when I went to Bermuda in 2015, oh, that's beautiful. I'm sorry guys, I just got distracted because it's fall and I'm watching some leaves literally fall from a tree in slow motion. You know, like when you watch a movie them and you just see the little fall foliage of drop. The trees are like pink and brown and yellow now. I digress. Anyways, back to my Bermuda story. So when I started in the operating room in Bermuda in 2015, I saw it as an amazing opportunity. I was in a brand new world surrounded by all this technology in healthcare that I never had before. We started with paper documentation, and over the years we flipped over to an electronic documentation. I got to see a lot of laparoscopic surgery, a lot more trauma surgeries, way more than what I was accustomed to seeing in Bermuda. So I was so excited, right? And let's also be fair, Bermuda paid me way more than I would have been paid in Jamaica. And as a matter of fact, even now, full disclosure, I was being paid more in Bermuda for less hours than I get paid here now, right? But after a while, I started having some trouble in my personal life, and then work became my escape. Work was the place where I felt like I had my sanity. I knew what I was doing. You are a professional's professional when you're in the nursing space. But then I started at around when COVID came in to realize that I want more. I didn't feel like I needed to prove myself in Bermuda anymore. I just wanted more. I realized that the world was becoming way more technology based. And as I've said all the time, doing a master's in health informatics was never because there was nothing else I could do. It's because I believe that as a nurse, a lot of us are not in the space of healthcare IT. Things are made for us to use, but nothing is made with us in mind. You know what I mean? Excuse me. And I feel like at some point in my career, I want to help to be the change of that trajectory where nurses sit in tables and sit in conversations where we never were before. And even if that doesn't happen to me, I felt at the time that I needed to do something to change. Now, Bermuda was affording me a very comfortable life. I was surrounded by people who I knew, and people who I trusted, and people who I dare say loved, right? I lived in a one-bedroom apartment that was graciously given to me by Miss Mitos. Love you, Miss Mitos. My friend Kenisha was the one who helped me through a lot of things. Love you, Ken. I have my other friends like Kerry, who has been like a backbone for me, Charlene, Rochelle. All these people who I loved, they still live there, they had their lives there, and it would be very selfish of me to think that I should ask of any of them more than what they were already given to me. But I also realized that I was becoming agitated and I was no longer happy and settled. So while I was comfortable, I was not settled. Oops. I'm settled now, I promise. Settled. And so I made the decision that I needed to step out and try something new. And hopefully, if needs be, and I needed to spin the block on Bermuda, because you know, I would have that opportunity. So I embarked on doing my master's, and then I started the process to come to America to work. It's not easy. It's not at all easy, right? When I came here, I knew no one here. I chose to come to Connecticut. I live in Danbury. I literally know no one here. I didn't know how to drive. I didn't know how things work. I didn't know what I was going to do taxes. The process of getting even this apartment was a learning curve. So basic things like shelter, clothing, food, transportation, all of that took me a while to figure out. This on the back of trying to complete a master's, going through severe depression, missing my friends in Bermuda. It was a lot, and it was all at once. Zine? A few times I said to myself, I'm very selfish, because you're not only hurting the people who are missing you, but you're hurting yourself, because here you are in a space where you know nothing and you are so unhappy, and you were in a space where you were comfortable, you were making good money, you could take all the trips you want, you go to carnivals you want, you finance your own education, you finance your lifestyle comfortably, and now here you are making less, working 20 plus more hours than you're accustomed to, trying to make ends meet, and everything just seems for naught. I remember having a few cry sessions with multiple of the friends. Oh, MR, let me not leave you out, because you were there for one of those 3-hour sessions. My friend Nathan, who lives in England, in the UK, everybody started to touch base with me, and I'm like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I made this decision. This was probably not the right thing to do. And it can feel like that. It feels very lonely. It feels like, what am I doing here? Because you've now elevated yourself into a space where you are required to be different, do things differently, be even a different person in the space, right? And then little things started to happen, because just like in Bermuda, when nursing became my crutch, I came here and I said, girl, if there's one thing you actually know how to do is nursing. So tap into it, right? And so I started to read more, educate myself more about how nursing in America works, educate myself more about the technologies that I'm experiencing in the OR. The only specialty I don't work in now is cardiac. Do everything from thoracic to vascular to neurosurgery to orthopedics, general surgery, gynae, urology, robotics, everything. Majority of that I had never learned before, and I had to put myself in a space where all of this was brand new, but I had to learn. And on the back of learning that, I decided that I was going to be not only a patient advocate, and it can get very hard in these US states where everything is litigious and everybody wants to sue you for everything. But I decided to embark on patient self-care, safe care, and advocacies for patients, right? I see things here where a lot of things are done differently, and I am like, all we need to do is go back to the base of treating humans like humans, and we never have to worry. See? And that is where my life is predicated on now. And that has resulted in me being recognized by the hospital, by Danbury Hospital, twice as a safety star. I was literally given a hospital contract when I still had a year left of another contract to work. They were literally trying to buy my contract. I have experienced many highs and lows, even in the space of just asking my boss, I need this, and I see things forthcoming where people are not only recognizing me, but they're also appreciative of the work that I do. And I gave you that long ass story to say this. Me making the decision to move away from what was comfortable was me providing myself with self-care. And although initially it seemed like a selfish thing to do, I am now 2 years out, and I am feeling like I have the ability to take care of my mental and physical well-being much more than I would have 2 years ago before I left Bermuda. Sidebar, I would also like to say that for all the hard work I did in Bermuda, I don't believe that there was any recognition forthcoming. There was no systems in place to make you feel like you were being appreciated. Sans the one cake that you get for Nurses Week. They didn't do individualized recognition, and also it was a very toxic workplace culture. And I'm not saying that in the US the workplace culture is not toxic, but the hospital, especially where I work, have put a lot of rules in place to circumvent a lot of the base toxicity that people can have. So it's always gratitude, it's always thankfulness, it's always feeling like whatever decision I make is where I need to be in that moment. And it's also recognizing that if you're in a space where you feel very small and unappreciated, there is a great big world out there waiting to show you that they appreciate everything that you do. And when you step out into this great big world, in as much as it seems like you're being a selfish person, it is actually self-care. The coffee, something about Blue Mountain coffee gets me all the time.